I did, sir.
Hi guys, and welcome to episode 10.
Double figures.
Dun dun dun. I am Kieran. This is Rob. He is the Brooks Wackerman to my Rev. How are you?
That is so sweet, I think. I don't know. Is that like a backhanded insult?
No, not necessarily. It kind of starts off well because
So you're the Rev.
of course, I'm the best. But secondly, not just that, right? It's like kind of like the podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just looking around for who the fuck asked y'all.
It's kind of like the podcast. I was there when I founded this, and then I didn't die.
And then I just came along and made it happen. It's fine.
I didn't die though, so it's a good step. Call the police. Right, this is episode 10 of Started Podcast. Today, we were going to bring you the news. We still are. We were going to bring you
A topic.
a topic of
We're not.
new metal, a brief history of. That has now changed. That will be next week, along with our second topic that we will announce at the end of the podcast. Now, the reason for that is shit happens. We're still going to be bringing you the review of Static X's Machine. And instead, we're going overboard with the tournament. We're not just bringing you the 4. That's 5. We're not just bringing you the 4 matchups we said we'd bring you. We're bringing you all 12. So we're finishing round 1 today. Okay?
I mean, for us, that kind of does work a little bit better as well. The more we thought about it, the more we thought, well, there's going to be at least a week that we're going to need you guys to re-vote on round 2.
Yes.
So this kind of works out a little bit better for everyone.
Yeah. So I'll say this again at the end of the podcast, but there will be no tournaments matchups next week. That will be the week after to let you guys vote from, well, once I post it tomorrow, probably up until 2 weeks' time.
That's all.
Okay. So, the news. Really, there's only 2 pieces of news I can think of, and that's 2 album announcements. So, first of all, we'll start off with, I prefer this band out of the 2, but my goodness, Five Finger Death Punch have announced their album, And Justice for None. Now, if you've never heard of that before, that's a complete rip-off of Metallica's album name, And Justice for All. I believe it was their first ever album. I might be wrong. But, And Justice for None.
You really think so?
That is, and Justice for None, yeah. Yes, that is a complete steal from Metallica.
So it's kind of like, what's that Avenged album? Hail to the King?
Hilarious. Real hilarious. You know how I said to the Brooks Wackerman, you are just
I'm just
someone
Wackerman.
else. Yeah, you're not
I'm not
even,
Brooks enough.
Not even Wackerman.
That's fine.
So,
Sup, Craig?
Sada, now, you've thrown my train of thought, you slag.
I'm so sorry.
Five
Choo-choo!
Finger Death Punch, right? And Justice for None. That's an album name still straight from the get-go.
Is it not one of those kind of situations where they're like, right, okay, so here's a band that we really like, we're going to name our album kind of similarly so that people... I mean, it's like, forgive me for doing this, but the only example that I can really think of is the fucking shittiest little band called The Blackout, if you ever heard of them. Remember them back in the day?
Yeah.
They had a song or an album that was called I Love Myself and I Want to Live, which is a direct rip-off of Kurt Cobain saying, I hate myself and I want to die.
That's maybe similar.
But that's the sort of thing, it's like where they're sort of playing off of it oppositely.
8:59 start, so we are just fuck you, Craig. Anyway, welcome to Decipher, the best podcast in Milton Keynes. Thank you very much.
I don't like this guy.
Right,
Get him off the screen. Please don't go. You're our only viewer.
Yeah. Stay. Anyway, so not only that, but the deluxe or the special edition version of the album. You know those god awful, like they were cool when you were young, but the market T-shirts with the skeleton doing that or the fucking skeleton doing that, the generic metal shirts. That's the album cover, but they've changed the metal shirt to a Five Finger Death Punch logo. Like, what if you? I know you probably don't care for Five Finger Death Punch, especially you, Craig, but some people here do. I do. I've got starting to get into a love-hate relationship with them, but the fucking
It's clear this just doesn't sit very well with you.
It's real bad. So that's that. But on the second album, Parkway Drive announced their album, which is called something I don't know.
Fucking one word. And I did look it up.
While he finds that.
It's not being released for a while, so at this point in time, I mean, I struggled to be interested in it anyway because IRE was so shit.
Artwork is fucking awful, yeah.
La, 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 la.
Yeah, while he looks it up, something fair play to Partway Drive. They announced the album on Tuesday, I believe, last week. And on that announcement, they announced that they're doing a gig.
Reverence.
Okay. That's a pretty cool name, actually. But they announced a London show for Friday. 3 days to sell tickets. Here you go. It was a tiny show. I think it was at the Underworld in Camden.
Yeah, so very small.
200-300 people.
Sold out.
There you go. Sold out very quickly. Touts. So that's the news, really. Just 2 albums at the moment. Nothing else I can think of. So I'm going to actually quickly throw out a shout out because he's here, and also I probably would have done it anyway. So, for those that don't know,
probably being the operative word,
Craig and his mate Oz, friends of ours, they do Beatdown Podcast, which you can check out live every week, pretty much, on Fridays on YouTube, Beatdown Live.
And they start at the time they say they're going to start, guys.
They do, it's true. So they're maybe more prepared than us. But last week, on Friday, Fridays at 8, YouTube. Beatdown Podcast Live on Facebook, I believe, and Beatdown Live on YouTube. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, we gave them an album to review. Rob gave them Periphery, Select Difficulty.
Yes.
And I gave them Sixth Death of a Dead Day. Now, we won't spoil anything, so you guys should go and watch it. But it's interesting and funny. It was good. I liked it. And they're also going to be reviewing 2 next week for us. As special request, Wake in the Fallen. Well, they chose the band, not the album. I refrained originally, but Wake in the Fallen.
You went for that? Okay.
Yeah, I went for the end. Just because I think they were like more screaming than the stage. Think of what they like. Anyway, Wake in the Fallen by Ben Sevenfold and Sturm und Drang by Lamb of God.
Which is the newest album, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you're right. Yes.
They
had a little EP.
One that I'm actually entirely unfamiliar with.
Embers, man.
Apart from that one song, Chino Marino.
Sorry, Billy.
That's hard.
So, that's that.
That is that.
In case you missed it, our topics have been moved to next week, and we're doing the tournament. We'll do 6 matches. There's 12 matchups left. We can't do that 2 hands. We're going to do 6. We're going to do our review of Static X. We're going to do the other 6. And then we're going to finish it off with a little chat about Miles Kennedy live.
Yes.
Leave that to the end. Why not? Because I've just remembered that we're doing it. Spoiler alert, it was great.
5 times.
Yes, yes indeed.
Hey, let's talk about Miles K. Oh, that's a good idea.
The Acoustic Show. Beatdown Podcast live on Facebook and YouTube. Well, there you go. They're consistent as well as on time.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, I think consistency and timekeeping kind of fall under the same umbrella.
I think you should shush.
All right.
Can you please unleash the beast of your mobile phone and tell us... Well, we know the next matchup, so we'll start with that right now. Also, please pass the box. Our first matchup...
Are you going to pick first
is
this
a
week?
big one. I'm going to pick first this week. It's a big one. It's Slipknot versus Korn.
What's going to be the best way?
Right, so Slipknot versus Korn will be discussed on the topic of... Slipknot versus Korn on the topic of vocalist.
Oh, damn.
That's a really big one.
Right.
Put that to the side this time so we don't re-pick it.
Yes, thank you. Shit. Quite frankly,
Yeah.
shit.
Jonathan Davis versus Corey Taylor. Korn, go! No, Slipknot first. Sorry, Slipknot, go!
Slipknot. Okay, so for me, despite me disagreeing with many decisions that a man has made, Corey Taylor is a fucking legend. And if you haven't read his books, you need to read his books.
I wouldn't push legend. Now, I see in the majority he's seen as a legend. Corey Taylor's become a meme with, oh, what did Corey Taylor say about this? I love Corey Taylor's vocals.
Yeah.
The more things he does as a person.
A person.
I read that's a hard one at the same time. As much as he does as a person.
As a person.
More and more he does as a person. I'd start liking him as a person less.
Yeah, no,
now,
I get that.
We're doing it as vocalist, and that does incorporate his vocals mostly, like 80%, 85%. But you've got to take into the fact of how he is as a person, and I still think he was the reason Jim and Joey left.
Yeah, 100%. Hence, part of the decisions that I just don't agree with. I think if we were talking about the best vocals, that would maybe give us clear-cut sort of direction to go. But because we are talking about the vocalist You are 100% correct there. We do have to sort of factor in them as a person to a definitive degree, at least. And I have to admit, I don't really know too much about Jonathan Davies, so I can't really overly comment on that, and we're not there yet. But I do know plenty about Corey Taylor, and while he's an interesting bloke who's had plenty of experiences,
he's had a shit life. As well.
He has had a shit,
his early life anyway.
Shit life.
Being a millionaire now probably doesn't make a difference to him, but yeah.
Well, I mean, how much can money really fill? I mean, if have you read any of his books?
I haven't. I've heard snippets from
7 Deadly Sins. Okay, so for anybody, spoiler alert, who's going to read this, stop listening right now. He's a cunt. Nice one. I mean, he is. At the end of the day, he is a bit of a cunt. That's the thing. But the guy, like you just pointed out, the guy has been through some real fucked up shit in his life.
Yeah.
The guy made friends with, so he lived in like a little trailer park when he was like 13 or something like that. And he made friends with this like 17, 18-year-old kid that lived next door to him who ended up molesting him and fingering him.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yes.
Fingering him.
Yes, like disgusting things. So yeah, been through some fucked up shit. Not an excuse to take it out on one of the best drummers in the world.
No, absolutely not.
So that's my kind of take on Corey Taylor.
His
Interesting.
Vocals, though, his range from the softest of Bother in Stone Sour. I know we're talking about Slipknot, so ignore that because Stone Sour are in this, so ignore that comment completely. We're talking about Slipknot.
He has done some softer vocals with
in
Slipknot
Snuff.
as well. Yeah, exactly.
In Snuff, Till We Die, to the heaviness of Spit It Out, The Blister Exists, and
Purity.
Many other songs.
Purity, mate. That is a fucking... That's just straight up, like...
Put Corey Taylor in what category you want, but he is an all-round metal vocalist.
He took it out on Lars Ulrich. Dude, just don't even start. Just don't. If you genuinely believe that Lars is the best drummer in the world, then we have an issue. Continue on with the topic.
Just clicked my head. Yeah,
Just
he does not think that. I'm sure of it.
Just carry on. I'm not even going to pay this anymore.
So
I can't.
As an all-round vocalist, he's got the fucking vocal cords.
Yeah, I mean he does. He really does. So let's move on to Korn quickly on that same sort of vibe.
What, in terms of vocal cords?
Yeah, I don't necessarily feel like Jonathan Davies has much of a range.
Things. You haven't heard enough Korn or anything else. Jonathan Davies has range. His vocals I really like his vocals. I probably like Corey's more, but that's not necessarily mean I'm going to choose Corey. I will discuss that and I'll think properly afterwards. But with Jonathan Davies, some of his older stuff, I know it's natural, but some of the raw emotion you can hear in his vocals is intense listening to it.
Oh, fuck.
And he can scream. Not as great as Corey Taylor, but he can scream. He can definitely fucking sing.
As good as Corey Taylor?
At times.
Okay.
I believe so. I believe Jonathan Davies has got a voice in him.
I mean, he does. He definitely does. And I don't have a bad thing to say about his vocals other than the fact that from what I listen to of Korn, it's very similar. But then you have to factor into things like the whole fucking new metal beatboxing shit that he's got going on through like parts of his songs with the boom,
which actually
that's so fucking awesome.
Yeah, that displays a fucking a load of talent in there.
Yeah, fuck yeah, mate. This is hard.
Yeah, it is hard.
Continuing on with Korn a little bit because I feel like we're kind of digging ourselves a bit of a grave if we decide to go for Korn in this matchup after talking about Corey Taylor for about 5 minutes straight and then being like, Korn are cool.
His personal life, he's very similar to Corey Taylor. He was abused as a child.
Yeah.
And that's what the whole song Daddy is about, which is one of probably the most emotional song, which I had luck to see live a couple of years back. So it's luck. Obviously, it was pretty intense for him. And I think it was the first ever time he played live. Not first ever, but the first tour. He was abused by someone and his dad didn't believe him. That's why there's a song called Daddy. A lot of common misconception is people think it was his dad abused him. It's not. It's that a woman that lived around the corner abused him and molested him, and he told his dad, and he spoke out finally. He had to go to speak out about it. Dad was like, shut up. That's stupid.
Cold.
Yeah, so
I'm not sure what's worse.
He's had some shit in his life too.
Yeah.
And
Didn't
that's
know about that,
brought on a lot of raw emotion from both vocalists, but I feel like whereas Corey displays it as anger very well,
Jonathan Davis is kind of humble with it, almost.
I don't know. I think he has a lot of anger,
still
but
angry,
he has a lot
still
of
pain,
sadness.
Can channel it in a way that doesn't make you want to hate him. Really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So interesting. Food for thought.
Fair enough. John didn't tell the story like Corey did, according to Craig. It's fair enough. It's a fair comment.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, this is fucking difficult.
It is, and it was your pick first, so who are you going to go for?
I want to say that it's really fucking close, and it is really fucking close. I'm going with Corey Taylor.
You are. Shit. I was not prepared for this. Again, it has to be verbalized that through the medium strictly of what we're talking about, they are virtually neck and neck. However,
I want to say it is that close. I almost went for Jonathan Davis.
However, because we are talking about them as people as well as the vocals that they bring to the table, I am... Fuck! No. I'm going to have to go Corey Taylor as well.
Okay.
Just purely because something about the guy's obviously interested me enough to read his fucking books. They're all on the shelf right there. Like, I feel like, for whatever reason, I know neither of them, obviously, but I feel like if I met both of them in a bar, I might be able to connect with Corey Taylor just that little bit more. And I have more exposure to his vocals.
Apparently with fans he's great, and the reason I chose Corey, I completely forgot to put into consideration about how they are as people. So maybe I would have chosen Jonathan Davis with my vote. It's set.
It's locked in now.
Locked in.
It's like golden balls. You can't change that.
Craig is a good thing of both of us.
Fantastic.
When's this podcast happening between the four of us?
I was going to say,
we'll keep the cameras off. Now, that's that. Slipknot goes through.
Amazing stuff. Right.
Next matchup is Foo Fighters versus Alter Bridge, but the other way around. So Alter Bridge first.
Alter Bridge and Foo Fighters. Do you want to give that a little shake, and I'll pick as it and deals. So Alter Bridge and Foo Fighters are going through the medium of drummer. Interesting.
Now, before we go through to that, before I picked vocalists, the first thing that came to mind was vocalist. Before you picked that, the first thing that came to mind was drummer. Just saying. Really
just saying.
Weird.
Psychic energy.
Drummer, Foo Fighters. Alter Bridge, go.
I don't know his name.
I think it's Scott.
Scott. Let's go with Scott.
We'll go with Scott.
That is our scapegoat name for this drummer today. I'm quite surprised that you don't know the drummer. I know there's not really
two of their names.
It's not really a band that you would listen to for the drums.
No, they're
really.
not. I really like the drums in this. Though.
Oh yeah. There's nothing wong with the drumming.
Opening to Metalingus.
Mate, yes. And fucking Cry of Achilles as well. I love the little fucking build up on that, and One Day That Remains as well.
Mm-hmm. One Day That Remains, yes.
And just straight into getting overtaken by the best guitar riff in the world.
They are. He's a drummer that can. I feel like. So Alter Bridge are.
It's not where their focus is.
They're a hard rock band.
Yeah.
And I feel like he suits it very well. But he could also just jump into a metal band and play.
You reckon?
I think so.
Okay.
His drums are very metal style.
They're very universal in that sense, actually, yeah. Whereas Taylor Hawkins is quite universal in a different way, just not for anything heavier than Foo. He can do things that are lighter, he can do jazz drumming. We're skipping ahead of ourselves anyway, we'll stay on Alter Bridge for a minute. I mean, that's a fair thing to consider, really, is how universal are their skills, really, because God forbid if anything ever happened to Alter Bridge where they just decided they didn't want to do it anymore. The worst thought for me as a drummer myself is thinking that a drummer in any band will be like, well, that's me out of the music business then, because I can't drum for any other band. That's just a weird thought. And I don't really think that would happen very easily anyway. But having said that, like you said, he could quite easily transpose his skills into another similarly sort of sounding band.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying not to take that too much into consideration. That was kind of a side point because obviously we talk about drumming in Alter Bridge, but I'm just saying, as a drummer,
we're going to talk about drums in general.
Yeah, as a drummer, yeah, fair. Yeah, as a drummer.
Whereas if we switch the focus over to Foo Fighters a little bit, Taylor Hawkins, yes,
Indeed.
okay. fucking brilliant drummer, absolutely insane drummer, and it has to be said, right? So again, I won't go into too much detail because of specials coming up, but it has to be said that if it has to be said that if given the shaky history of the last drummer before Taylor Hawkins entered the band, which I don't know if many people really know the story of, but basically William Goldsmith was a shit drummer, and he openly admits that.
That's kind of him.
Well, he does. I mean, yeah, he openly admits that back then he was just a kid. Touring scared him.
This is with Foos.
Yeah, this is the Foo Fighters' first drummer. So, for anybody that doesn't know, the album, the first Foo Fighters album with the gun on the front, that's all Dave. That's all Dave Grohl entirely. Bass, vocals, guitar, drums, absolutely everything is Dave. So, for the first album, all Dave really needed to do was get a drummer that would play live. So, to me, he kind of made a boo-boo by jumping straight on Sunny Day Real Estate because they had a good rhythm section. It worked for what they were doing. He made a good solid choice in taking Nate out and playing bass. He did not make a good solid choice choosing William to play drums.
Right.
So there's already a mad history of kind of bad vibes around drummers in front of Dave Grohl.
But on the first album, Dave did everything.
Dave did everything himself. Interestingly enough, more people know that than they do this. Dave also played the drums for the second album, The Colour and Shape, so Everlong is Dave Grohl drumming.
Oh, okay, so I didn't know that.
And the reason for that being that when they went into the studio, they worked with... I cannot remember his name. Gil Norton, I think his name is, the guy that did the Pixies records back in the day.
Right.
They worked with him, and he literally ground the band down to the bone. Nate was a shit bassist in Gil's eyes, and William was an even worse drummer in his eyes. And that instantly just left the drummer feeling like shit straight away. Just like, here's my first real recording process with a band this big. Dave Grohl's the fucking frontman. He's fresh out of Nirvana. Like, this is a big fucking deal. I'm already super nervous. I already know that I'm nervous about going out and touring. And then there's this producer that I've never met before saying, yeah, you're shit. Look at your frontman. He's a better drummer than you, essentially.
That's going to be a kick in the balls, isn't it?
For anybody to come into a band with that much kind of shaky history and with a history of the lead vocalist saying, yeah, actually, I'm going to play drums on this record. For a drummer to come in and be like, well, no, you're not. I'm going to play drums if you want me to be your drummer. And bearing in mind that the guy was drumming for Alanis Morissette at the time as well, and she was massive at the time that he joined Foo Fighters. So Taylor Hawkins did a massive solid by joining that band, and I personally, so many people will disagree with this, I personally believe he's a better drummer than Dave Grohl.
Interesting.
He is. He's a better drummer than Dave Grohl. He's a much better drummer than Dave Grohl, but so many people are like, oh no, we love Dave. I love Dave. I love Dave Grohl to fucking pieces. He's brilliant. I still don't think he's the best drummer. So for me, Taylor Hawkins has got to swing that one straight away. And that gives me very firm kind of grasp on my choice, straight up.
Who'd you pick?
I'm going with Taylor Hawkins, 100%.
So I'll quickly point out before I put my vote, because my one's actually quite an easy pick for me. Right, because I'm well known for loving Alterbridge. However, when we pick drummer, we're talking about the drummer of Foo Fighters or Alterbridge. That includes the history of. And my pick is also Foo Fighters. Because Taylor Hawkins is great, I love Dave Grohl on drums. We're counting him in it as well because he's been a drummer for Foo Fighters.
Yeah, 100%.
So Foo Fighters,
I felt the need to sort of say he is better than Dave, in my opinion.
Foo Fighters take on Slipknot in the next round.
Holy fuck! Oh, dude, Dave and Corey are friends as well, man. Missed joke. He played with Alanis. If you didn't, then you... Hey, I'm a fucking dude! No, don't do this to me. Don't tell me how I should have lived my life. Oh, we need to get this guy on.
Above me, man. We're getting him on soon. We're getting him on.
Oh, dude, we need to educate this guy on Alanis Morissette.
I don't think that's the one. That's not what I'm getting him in for. That's definitely not what I'm getting him for.
Well, do you know what? That's what I'm getting him for next week.
Not next week.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
We're going to do new metal, something else, and Alanis Morissette.
We're absolutely not. Right. Fantastic. Thank you for that input.
Thank Craig. I mean, it's just...
Metallica versus Deftones is next.
Where's the tub?
Give it a good old shake, you slag. It's the littlest shake. Right, did you... Yes, cool.
It's like Rolling Thunder. Just pick one. Just pick one. That's
I'll
two.
pick two. I want that one. And we can put vocalist back in now. So, Deftones versus Metallica.
Are going through the medium of...
Current relevance.
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
Wow.
Okay, current relevance in 2018. I'd like to fit that in there, that'd be bad, wouldn't it? So, Metallica, current relevance.
Still as strong. Still
They're
as
fucking
strong.
huge.
Still as strong as ever, to be honest. Well, maybe not as ever, because I think when they were first sort of gaining their popularity, they were a machine that was not to be fucked with. Nowadays, there's so much respect for the band that nobody really needs to revere them anymore, kind of thing. They are just legendary in their own right.
Yeah, they're just totally huge. They went through a... See, my favourite album's Reload. A lot of people give me shit for that, but that's the album that I got introduced to Metallica with.
It's definitely not my favourite, but I don't think it's something that people should slate you for either. I've never really
People
understood
slate Load more. People often cite, especially with old school fans, that Metallica lost their buzz just before Load. Load was the first album that went to shit. A lot of people, some of those same people say that Hardwired to Self-Destruct, the newest album that came out last year, was, or maybe just the year before, I'm not sure.
No, yeah, it was last year.
Yeah, I wasn't sure it was just the end because it was near the stage, which was in... stage was in end of 16. Yeah, Hardwired 17. They say that's their best back to form since those days, but... I mean, also, they've got a certain album called Saint Anger, which people will shit on every day.
Never listened to it.
Yeah, if you're a Metallica fan, usually you're not a Metallica fan, but that's fine.
It's not that I'm not a fan, just to stop anybody from going fucking ballistic. I just don't really listen to it.
Craig won't give a shit, I think he's a Metallica fan either.
Oh, fantastic. I like this guy.
So, yeah, what else can you really more say? It's Metallica.
I mean, it is, and despite the fact... I'm so glad, in a way, well, they should be so glad that they haven't had drummer as a thing yet, because I will never pick Lars Ulrich as a good metal drummer, ever. Against anyone. They could literally be against Taylor fucking Swift, and I would probably choose their little synthy drum pads over Lars Ulrich.
That's pretty...
That's intense.
Yeah.
It's intense as fuck, but I cannot stand Lars Ulrich's drumming. I just can't.
I can't tell if that's I like Metallica laughing because it's sarcastic, or you actually like Metallica and you're laughing because you like Metallica. Either way. So, Metallica are still... entirely influencing bands.
Entirely.
There are new bands that are going Metallica because we're here because
I
of
bet
Metallica.
Code Orange are a relatively new band. I bet they would probably cite Metallica as one of their influences.
I would be surprised.
So relevance, 100% still there.
Yeah. Deftones. They're one of the biggest bands in their genre.
Their genre of...
New metal!
We're just fucking with you. Honestly, we have a topic this week.
I see, Craig. Fair enough. He likes the old stuff like a true elitist.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if I have not listened to a Metallica album all the way through since Master, probably.
Crikey.
So...
yeah, fair enough. Deftones,
and Black Album.
They could... Ollie. They could be... Deftones could be... Are they influential? Are there many?
Yeah.
Are there really many bands going in that direction?
No. Without destroying our topic for next week and the final question that we will ask ourselves next week. I don't really feel like there are many bands going in that particular direction, but one counterpoint that I will make about that is that part of the nature of the genre is that it doesn't necessarily have a specific direction.
No, that's true.
So
I'm sure bands like Hacktivist cite Deftones as one of their influences. But
maybe. But then I would say that they probably cite bands like...
The category, Sophie, for Deftones versus Metallica is relevance in 2018. And welcome, by the way.
Started! It sounds really harsh to say it like this, but I'm not actually 100%. When we think about Metallica having relevance, that's instant. Like anyone, even if you're like absolutely fucking dead set against the band, you could say, well, yeah, they've influenced so many people, they still are. So that is just 100%. That's a done deal right there.
Okay.
Have Deftones ever had that kind of relevance? Have they ever had relevance that made more than a handful of bands think, fuck, look at what they're doing, I want to get me some of that?
Thing is, Deftones, again, I'm trying not to touch too much on next week's new metal topic. Deftones came in at the same time as this genre was building. They influenced the genre because the genre just became what it was. It was rap that influenced it. I'm talking too much about the genre. But
it's relevant.
They don't... No, they haven't They haven't influenced nearly as much as a lot of other bands.
But then I think, again, then it's the only right thing to do is to bring up the genre, really, because in that sense, like you just said, the genre of new metal can be influenced by even rappers and stuff.
That was
like that.
pretty much the influence, yeah.
Kind of,
It was rockers that love rappers.
Pretty much, or rappers that love rock, and
vice
and
then
versa,
joined in, and no doubt some smaller bands that started off were like, we really like new metal. Maybe they weren't a fan of rap, and that's why they started doing it. But the original new metal started because of that. But going on Craig's point here of him saying Deftones are dead these days, putting aside influences, where are Deftones?
I mean, they released an album not too long ago.
Who knew about it?
Me.
You look genuinely sad. Me.
I like Deftones. I do.
After Diamond Dies, I've got a lot more time for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Check our review for a couple of weeks ago, bam.
Boom, that's PR, motherfuckers.
That's effectively it, and I'm just going to do it. I picked it, it's Metallica for me.
Yeah, 100%. It's
Yeah.
got to be done. It has to be done.
Metallica easily win relevance in
2018 for sure. And that's not to say that Deftones aren't a fucking incredible band, because they are. And anybody that hasn't given them enough time, give them some time.
Yeah.
They are really good. If you need pointers on what to listen to of theirs, feel free to get in contact with me, which brings us on to the fan choice
of Motorhead. You guys picked this. Well done.
versus Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, Rage Against the Machine. Oh, hello, Jake.
Gore, fair enough. There
you go. Yes, Motorhead versus Rage Against the Machine. We already put one back in, so...
Through the medium of...
Jen.
Who are the bands? Fan choice, Motorhead and
Rage Against the
Machine. Live show. Interesting. Fucking interesting.
Right. Motorhead.
I was never, ever lucky enough to... Dude, let's not be hasty there, Mr. Moore.
No, let's not.
Let's not be hasty.
I hate Rage Against the Machine.
And I feel like I'm not really at liberty to say anything about this, because I was never lucky enough to see Motorhead live. I'm gutted still to this day, and that sort of speaks volumes of its own.
Not that we're going to jump into them yet, but have you seen Rage live?
No.
So I've seen both live.
Okay, interesting. Maybe you should front this one, because I don't know.
Yeah, but you can also go from what you've seen on videos. So with Motorhead, how they play on stage is fantastic.
Okay.
It's great. Now, I don't want to put too much forward that I'm not a massive fan of Motorhead. I like them 10 times more than Rage. I just don't like Rage at all. Now, Motorhead can put on a fucking show.
Yeah.
They are really good at playing their instruments. Their live show is was stale. I know they were really old at the time, but it's 4 dudes standing there. Now, granted, one time they did bring out some like women and flamethrowers, I think, which was pretty cool. But you didn't feel like you were watching a show too much.
I mean, I would, if I'm going to go and watch fucking big-titted women and fire, I would rather go and see Rammstein.
Well, yes. To be fair, they don't really get tits out. They probably usually get their own dicks out. But yeah.
I'll settle.
Fire. So, yeah, Motorhead, great live show. No, sorry, great live sound, great live experience. The show isn't always there on point.
So in terms of their actual like showmanship, that's not necessarily quite there.
No, without touching showmanship too much, but yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Now.
Rage.
Yeah.
I saw the headline downloads. I saw only half their set. And I don't like the band. I was very interested watching it. Their live show, it's a different experience. It's a different crowd. Granted, there were cunts in the crowd that started punching people to get to the front, or legit punching people in the face. They're all skinheads and twats, to be fair. Don't know why they're doing a download, but they were. Again, they move around the stage a bit more. Yes, they're younger. All they've got is this red background, and there's not really much visuals. There's like I think it was a couple of video visuals and a lot of lights, but the intensity of Rage was a lot more there. Whereas for me, as not a fan of Motorhead, so I'm going to do a quick crossover here, as you don't know too well. With Motorhead, I was stood there enjoying it, looking forward to Ace of Spades. It's the only song I really knew. Rage, I only really knew Killing in the Name and maybe Balls on Parade. I was interested in every song. Didn't make me a fan of the band afterwards. It did make me shout, "Fuck pigs, I won't do what you tell me," through the campsite of Download at police people and told me to fuck off. It was great, didn't get arrested. So, sir, I give you a vote.
Go on then.
No, I'll give you your vote, you picked it.
Did I? Oh fuck, yeah I did. Oh shit.
So you got to take into mind what you would want as well. Because you've got to put in like, who would you rather see live out of the two?
I must admit, so I've seen footage of both playing live.
Fuck off, Jake.
I've seen footage of both. And it's fair to say that age probably does play a big part in it, but I've never really seen, I can't recall ever watching a Motorhead video where they were like jumping around the stage. But then you need to remember that these are like men as well.
Yeah, I know.
These
I've fully taken it into the experience, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't change anything in the grand scheme of things, really, because you can appreciate the fact that they're old, that they're just more manly.
That's part of them as well, yeah.
And yeah, that is just, it's part of them.
School.
Like, yeah, they're old school, and we can take all of that into account, and we could be doing that whilst watching them live. Sadly, obviously, not in reality, but we could, if they were still here and playing live in front of us, we could be like, they're old, they're past their sort of prime. It's still not really going to make you enjoy that show anymore. If it's not there, it's not there. And in that sense, I would prefer to go to a show in which I feel like I'm being bounced off the fucking walls.
Okay.
I'm going to have to go with Rage.
As soon as I saw this topic, I knew that I'd have to go with Rage Against the Machine as well.
Unfucking believable.
Yeah.
Unfucking believable.
Didn't think they'd go through. So Rage go on to take Metallica in the next round. It's just going to be a fucking a good match up there.
Yeah, well, the whole shebang's going to be fucking banging. So that is the left-hand brackets done.
Yeah, so we've got 2 more matches before our review.
Yes.
So the next match is... Please. You need to know what the match is.
Oh, AC/DC versus Rammstein.
AC/DC Rammstein. Interesting.
Through the medium of... Oh no.
Image and artwork.
Okay.
Image and artwork, okay.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
AC/DC, image and artwork. I will start off with, yes, it was a live show, but it's different because it's not the live experience too much. When they fucking played Download and they had their own stage, that was intense. They had a train crash through the fucking stage. They had a big old inflatable Rosie. It looked incredible.
Okay.
Other than that, artwork, you got the...
Their album covers are literally some of the shittest I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're not great.
No.
But for...
I care not for an album cover that is basically just a lightning bolt through a fucking...
Having said that, the lightning bolt is iconic.
I mean, it fucking is, but...
It's just... I would say...
I don't care about Harry Potter that much.
No, that's fine. They were around before Harry Potter. I would say, going back on an old podcast, for the last tournament, that's just as creative as Nirvana's logo. And just as iconic. Maybe a little bit less iconic, but that's only because of the non-metal fans wearing it.
True.
And we pushed that smiley face quite high up in Nirvana's ranking, so I'm going to push that. It's not great, it's very simplistic, but it works. Iconic as fuck. So that's...
Maybe there's a bit of a theme in that anyway. It's simplistic and it works.
Yes, Joe, how's it going? Join us in 2 weeks for the Avenged one, alright? They're not here today. So, yes, AC/DC completely, absolutely iconic. And that trade stuff is fucking brilliant. Rammstein.
Mate. Image. Image.
Alright, going from
It's fucking all over the place, man.
straight into the deep end with the fucking music
Balls
video.
deep end.
Literally,
Like-
for the music video for Pussy. You can't find it. If you didn't watch last week when we discussed music videos, you can't. I'll explain now. You can't find Pussy's music video on YouTube because it's literally a porno. You have to go to Pornhub or stuff like that to find it. It's very difficult.
I still haven't, actually, to be fair. I said after last podcast that I would, and I still haven't.
Well, maybe we'll watch some porn after this. That's disgusting.
Right, it's been great doing this for you guys. Yeah.
So
join me next week
that,
for me.
alongside, also, again, I'm not going too far into the live show again, but as we mentioned it anyway, the fucking...
Getting a call.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Continue.
Nailed it. The fire, the inflatable penis shooting out loads of foam across 10,000 people.
Spunky.
Any music video is creative as fuck for them. The Mine Hurts Brent one is insane. What's the one with the children under the grating and they're all stuck there? And is that Du Hast?
I was going to say that, but then I don't know. I'm not.
Either way, Mineland, the music video for that when they're all on the beach, absolutely crazy as fuck. There you go.
Oh, there you go. We've
Thank
got a
you
link.
so much.
Cheers,
Craig, providing
guys.
porn to all. Now,
Unbelievable.
I mean, just them as people. Yes, they're German, so it kind of adds to it, but they just look
menacing as fuck.
They really do. You just wouldn't fuck with them.
No.
And you got that fucking woman with the massive hands or the fingers in the music video as well. I'm just fucking going for it. Rammstein.
Yeah. Easy
Rammstein.
win.
Yeah.
Easy win. I agree with Soph. Easy win.
The one with the nun was Machine Head, if you watched last week, Jake. Darkness Within, which you probably haven't watched either of you.
No.
Well, we'll figure it out. So, Rammstein will be taking on one of the next two people.
Let us have a look. So next up, oh my diggity days. Bullet for My Valentine versus Marilyn Manson.
Bullet for My Valentine versus Marilyn Manson.
Shake the top, sir!
I'm ready to shake it, boy.
And Bullet for My Valentine will be taking on Marilyn Manson through the medium of not being able to unravel paper. Fan base.
Fuck.
Shit the bed.
Fan base. Interesting information.
I think I just shit my pants. Nope. Let's not do that.
Fan base.
Fuck. Versus the 1975.
Who was
Jake,
first? Was it Bullet or...
you're losing respect from me.
was it Bullet or
sir.
Manson?
For what?
Who was first on the list?
Bullet.
Bullet's fan base.
Probably diminishing over years.
Yeah. I would say they had a very big fan base back in the 2000s.
Yeah. I would say so did Marilyn.
Right, we're getting to Marilyn. We are getting to Marilyn. Just distracted by the... Okay, so it's Manson versus Bullet on fan base.
Fan base, yeah. So, I mean, there's a few different angles that we could take from this, really. Bigger fan base, yeah, sure. More committed fan base.
I think a particular person has both of those.
A particular person.
Alright, sorry, a particular group, because technically Marilyn Manson is a band.
Yes, technically, but you've just given the game away, so let's
I mean, we'll discuss it anyway, but...
Yeah, we're going to, but there's no fucking point now, is there?
Bullet's fan base, they're not the most hardcore you'd find. They're not.
Nope.
They're not
die hard.
dedicated fans.
They're not die hard. I don't know too many people that have Bullet tattoos. I know a few people that have Manson related tattoos.
I know a girl that's got Manson sleeve.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, she's dedicated to the cause. Now, if just to throw it out, if Manson got live show versus Bullet, it may be a different story. But the Temper came out and it was poisonous. No pun intended.
My tears did fall though.
Everything I hate revolves around Temper. Anywho, so it's just there's what can you really say? They have a fan base, but they went from headlining Wembley Arena to the next tour after Temper, where they headlined Aylesbury.
As a city, or
There's a venue in Aylesbury. The whole of Aylesbury came out.
the Red Lion,
Yeah.
a fucking pub in Aylesbury. Hi guys, we're Bullet for My Valentine. Okay.
You can't really comment much more.
I mean, you can, because let's flip it over to Manson.
Oh yeah,
right
no, I meant
now.
about Bullet. Manson, back in the day, his fan base
was Die Hard,
diehards,
massive.
a cult. In fact, Manson fans were a cult. Now,
I think that's probably why it's the biggest kick in the bollocks that he just takes the piss now.
Yes.
Like,
but the thing is, he's still got a huge following from his fans.
I know.
People still obsess over him.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a smaller crowd than it was before, because there's no big hype of him eating cats or whatever the fuck he did. Buy my merch! Now, he is a bellend, but his fans will still go watch him. He's still headlining arenas in the UK after that dire Download 2009 performance.
And after the fucking shit that just happened over in the States as well.
Yeah, oh, fuck's sake. But they're still willing to go. That's Manson. We'll pay out next time because I fucking adore him. He's the god of sex, as he used to be called. Who's your pick?
It's got to be Manson, isn't it?
It's Manson.
It has to be, because as much as I would rather listen to Bullet, as much as I prefer listening to Bullet, and I love them as a band in terms of their fan base, it's just not there, is it? It's like not on the level. Not on the level.
In a possible perfect lineup, Rammstein will take on Manson in the next round.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
I'm scared.
Right, we will now move on to our review of Static X album, Machine.
Yes.
Before we go on to the final 6 of this, he didn't necessarily walk out, Jake. He just stuck at life and he kept on walking off stage and coming back, but he didn't necessarily just walk out. He was probably going to sniff some more lines
and probably rack up a load of oxygen because
quite.
You're gonna love me some of that oxygen.
Machine by Static X. So
yeah.
before this album, I started listening to it. I only heard one song, which happens to be on this. It was Black and White, which is
same, but this is not
on this album. This album is kind of one way for me, and well, it's got a couple on each side, but we'll go into it.
I will just point out as well. The main reason for picking this album was to flow very nicely with this week's topic, which is no longer happening.
Yes.
So I flopped. I love my life. So that's pretty much all I have to say about this album. Moving on.
I'm not sure if Craig is still in the podcast or still watching, but he is quite a big fan of Static X.
That's cool. Fair enough.
So yeah, interesting stuff.
I will definitely say that without getting too lost in anything, I'm a bigger fan, but that's pretty much impossible to not be when I've literally only heard the one song before this album.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I only heard one song as well.
Without further ado, let us roll on.
So I'm going to start off with the good.
Okay. You see, I've just jotted it down in album order.
Go for it. Okay, if you got every song there, then go for it.
Yeah, I do.
With you.
So pronunciation's probably going to suck a little bit here, but bienvenidos.
It's there.
It is there. And in terms of an opening, me and you seem to have like a bit of a thing, a gambit for opening songs on albums. It's just not. It's not really doing it, is it? Like, I would be happy if they just went straight into Get to the Gone, to be honest.
Yeah, I think like something because of the intro to Get to the Gone, right? I feel like I wanted something there. Now it's similar to like last week with Clutch's Psychic Warfare. They had a kind of an intro that was just there, but it worked. Whereas this intro was just there and didn't.
Okay, but without it, the first actual song could possibly like lack a little bit. I feel. Yeah,
possibly. Yeah, it goes straight into the heaviness. Now, Get to the Gone is up there as one of the tracks of the album.
Yeah, I like it. Sick.
Yeah, and
it's a nice way to open up an album.
It's a nice fucking
kick in the bollocks.
Yeah, it's a nice heavy fucking brutality start.
Yeah,
and that's good for what is also new metal. But going into Permanence, I also really quite enjoyed that song. Not as much as the first, but I enjoyed it quite a lot.
You see, I've written down, it took a few goes. The first time I listened to the album, I remember thinking like, okay, here's our first one. I didn't skip it or anything. I listened to it, and by the end of the song, my mind wasn't all that changed. But yeah, after a couple of listens of the album as a whole, I then went back and listened to the song a couple of times just on its own as well, and I became kind of friendly with it, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely up there. It's not bad. Which then takes us into a Black and White, which is the one song that you did know.
Yeah.
From the band.
Best song on the album for me.
Okay, fair enough.
Remained the best song. I it's a good song. It may have helped that I knew it, and I knew it. I've known it for years. It's been one of those songs that will play now and go, this
So is
song.
it fair to say there's like maybe a touch of nostalgia there?
Touch, I'd say so, because
tiny
it's
bit.
back in the day where that stuff was huge and
Okay.
Linkin
For
Park
me,
or something.
I thought it was average. It's not that it was a bad song, not that it was overly great. It just kind of fell flat a little bit for me.
Oh, I don't know. There's some bits when he's like, "Your soul's on fire." So that's like, I feel that.
Yeah, there are good parts in
Powerful.
it. It just, for me, by the end of the song, every time I listen to the album and every time I listen to the song, by the end of it, it had fallen flat for me.
Okay.
So yeah, that's meh. This is not.
This is not.
This is not, and I have a feeling for you, it is not.
So those first few songs where I listened to the album, I was like, Rob Show's a good album.
And then this one
This
happens.
shat all over it.
Oh wow.
There's a line in it where he keeps going, "I hate this." He's right. I hate this.
Okay.
It's drivel. Like, I actually hate it.
See, for me, it's been quite interesting. This has been a bit of a learning curve for me because this is the song for anybody else that's a bit of a fan of the old sort of skateboarding, snowboarding, BMXing kind of games like Tony Hawk's, Matt Hoffman's. The snowboarding side of it before it became like Shaun White or whoever it is that now does all of those snowboarding games.
Shaun Ryder?
Used to be Sean Palmer. So I had this game called Sean Palmer's Pro Snowboarder, and I was already a mad fan of Tony Hawk's. I was already a mad fan of Matt Hoffman's. So I got this, and I fell in love with snowboarding and the game straight away. And this song was on there, and I remember thinking back then, like, okay, this is a bit of a weird song, but I was just about finding my feet in liking heavy music at that point in time. So it was just kind of like, cool, all right.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the fuck's going on here, but cool.
You didn't realise at
I
that
like
time that it was so shit.
Kind of. Actually, that is actually the point that I'm going to make. I've written down here that it's sick in the sense that it brings back lots of good memories for me, but that has nothing to do with the music. It has everything to do with missing being at school, life being easy, and me having nothing better to do with my days than playing snowboarding games.
Mm-hmm. Not much has changed.
Hey! I play skateboarding games.
Oh, sorry.
There.
It's a whole new sport.
So yeah, that's pretty much it really. Upon listening to the album a little bit more, I've sort of thought it really does lose itself. Well, it doesn't. This is the thing. You wish it lost itself in that album, but it stands out for the wrong reasons. I find
It's
just not very good.
dire.
Which then takes us on to Otsergo Undead.
And this really pushed up my point of how this album's going down the shitter.
Okay.
Terrible,
It's meh.
terrible song.
It's
No,
meh.
terrible. I genuinely thought, until I looked at the song title, because I was just plugged in while at work, so I couldn't look at my phone, so I work in a class of, like, top secret job. I genuinely thought he was going, "I'm the seagull, I'm the seagull." I was like, why is he singing about being a seagull? I was genuinely convinced. I was like, what the fuck is he singing? And it's Otsego or something. Yeah, wasn't keen. I just think it's also a really fucking bad song.
It is, yeah. It's just flat, and it just doesn't bring anything to the table.
Within 2 songs, I was just bored.
I mean, you're kind of giving the rest of this away a little bit.
Oh no, there's more to come. It does change.
Oh, I should hope so,
might be a few changes.
because the next song on the album is Cold.
Cold. I just put better.
Better. Fucking better. It is the best song on the album.
Okay, that's
By
fair
a
enough.
clean mile. By a clean mile for myself.
I think he sings "I'm the Seagull" too.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Cool. I've always thought of myself as a bit of a hawk, but there you go. I love Cold. I think it's fucking brilliant. And
Probably
it
the
sticks in my
third
head.
best after Black and White. Get to the Gone.
Okay, fair enough. It just sticks in my head so much. So fucking much. Like, I've listened to this album probably about 7 or 8 times over the past week. And it has probably just not once left my head.
Thank you, sir.
I find myself being sat there, like, I'll get off the phone to somebody at work, and straight away I'm just like, "Yo, God, it's so cold!" And then everyone else in the office is like, "Shut the fuck up, please." And then I realise that I don't realise that I'm screaming in people's faces.
Right. Well, that's avoidable if possible.
I mean, it's not
Okay.
when I listen to this song. So
Right.
I fucking love it. I think it's really good.
It raises the album rating.
It does 100% for me. Menacing vocals as well, man. The style, like in the verses and stuff, where he's talking, it's basically, I can imagine that's the song that you would sing to somebody whilst you're chaining them up to kill them.
Oh wow.
Not that I imagine too much about that.
Great.
You're safe, don't worry.
I know I am. I'll knock you out.
Fucking what?
I'll knock you out.
So, structural defect is the next
I haven't
one.
even written that down. I must have missed that. Therefore, it was unnotable.
Unnotable. I mean, I put down for jokey reasons, but also because it's very fucking true. Any song that follows Cold is going to suffer in comparison. That said, I think this song is pants anyway.
Officially been quoted.
Sick. Thanks, dude. T-shirt me. Sell it on eBay.
I prefer to be a Falcon, but that's fine. Anywho, so what's your next song?
So yeah, I thought that was structural defect was a bit flat and just a bit pants anyway. In a bag.
In a bag. I didn't write this down, but it was meh.
Musically, it's okay.
Is that the one that's a bit more synthy than the rest?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. I
Musically,
think I actually thought it was alright actually. Now
yeah, I was going to say musically it's actually really good. The kind of style, the rhythm, the tempo of it all was a bit samey, and it's at this point in the album that I start getting a bit like, come on, do something new, do something else. So yeah, it started setting a bit of a downward trend for me.
Fun fact, it's actually shit in a bag.
Shit
But
in a
Spotify
bag.
won't call it that, I guess.
Yeah, so it's just in a bag apparently. Sick. Thanks for that, actually, because yeah, shit in a bag.
Makes more sense towards this album, doesn't it?
It kind of does a little bit, yeah. Well, towards that song anyway. Musically, like I said, it's alright. Just yeah, whatever. Burn to Burn.
Burn to Burn is on my shit list. It was just shit.
Yeah.
Otsego, This Is Not, and Burn to Burn were the three fucking shit horses of this album.
Cool. For me, I just literally put again samey sort of sound. The riff's okay, like the guitar riff's alright. But again, it's very much what you can pick up from the rest of the album. To be honest,
Yeah.
so nothing too special. Machine.
I put that as a big old meh. So it's the best of the worst.
Okay, yeah, no, I can agree with that. I basically just put down for a namesake song, it's a bit flat. Like you would kind of if you're gonna
Title track,
if you're gonna like name an album after a track, then you want it to be like one of your heavier hitting ones. And for me, it's just a bit like
It's very nice water, by the way.
oh, so I didn't make it. So yeah, that is that for me. Which then obviously takes us on to the outro song, which was just pointless, overly
Adios
drawn out.
Alma Perida.
That's the one.
I actually
Perdida.
I put good. I quite liked it as an outro track.
Why?
It's a little funky tune, isn't it?
Yeah, but it goes on for like 4 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
But it's pointless. There's no...
Yeah, but as a track, it sounds alright.
I just...
Sometimes just an instrumental adds quite well. It was different to what the album... It piqued my interest, whereas I was getting so fucking bored towards the end of the album. Oh, that sounds alright.
Okay.
Sounds pretty cool.
I guess from that, if I try and empathise with you and put myself in your shoes for that, if I was really getting like, ugh, by this album, that might be a good point in which I'm like, yeah, okay. But that's probably because it's a clear-cut indication that the album's about to end. I just didn't really see the point. I thought it was overly drawn out.
If it is, I didn't know this was 4 minutes. Like I say, if I didn't give it a final listen today, my rating would be even lower than what it's going to be. But I was away at work and I was like, this sucks. Oh, it's pretty alright. This sucks. Oh, this is a cool little track to end off with. So yeah, I rated it. I thought it was good.
Okay. Thoughts?
So it's just fucking
Overall feel of the album.
I'm not. There's a few tracks in there which are good. There's good to great, and that's a very small amount. I'm not going to be searching for any more Static X in my lifetime.
Ever?
No.
Damn.
Unless someone tells me there's a fucking, oh, you should listen to this album, it's entirely different, then I'll give it a go. If they got like an album full of black and whites, then great. I feel like there's more contrast there, but a lot of it got samey. I hate to use that word.
Yeah, I like that. Black and white's contrast. Get it.
Oh.
Hey! He's funny and he don't even know.
We're here all night. So I'm going to make all the albums different. Then I may, and even then it's a may, because at some points Wayne Static's vocals can be really fucking good, and at other times when he's like, I'm like, you sound like a fucking cunt. Sorry to speak of the dead that way, but I have.
For me, it was just kind of like, I mean, you're not really selling me with that point there, where you're sort of saying like all of their albums are different. It's like, really? Because most of this album sounds the same.
Yeah.
There are a few massively standout tracks for me on this album, Cold being by far the clean mile for me. And like you just said about Black and White, if I had an album full of Colds, mate, I would be one sick puppy.
Yeah. Maybe it's, well, he can't, he's dead, but maybe they need to do a best hits if they haven't already.
I would be surprised if they haven't, to be fair, because despite us never really coming into contact with them that much, they're actually fucking massive.
Oh, they're massive in their world, yeah, for sure.
And I didn't realise how big they were until listening to the album and doing a bit of research. Very little amount of research, I must admit. So there's probably 101 articles that say he's a cunt, and maybe one or two that I actually read that are like, oh yeah, it's really good stuff. Again, I don't want to talk shit about the dead.
Have you got a rating?
I do. I'm really undecided on it. Like, I'm doing a U. I'm between two numbers.
I'm always between two. During speaking about it, I've decided my number. So my out of 10 is 3 out of 10.
Damn, that's quite low.
It's low.
That is really quite low. I don't remember how much you gave Carnival, but I'm pretty sure it was 4. So
I thought that was 2. I'm not sure.
Maybe. For me, I'm going to go slightly above that because, on the whole, the album, I think I might have written a little bit of a synopsis.
Cheers, Jake.
What's that? You guys are so professional, it's making me nervous. Sick.
Good.
That's exactly the kind
Sarcastic
of vibe we
or
want.
not, we'll take it.
You see, the thing is...
Wow, okay.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I'm not sold on that because, like you, we've just been talking about it, and the more that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, actually, you kind of raise a valid point there.
I shat myself. There you go, Sophie. 2 in 1.
Are we still talking about you shitting yourself? Or?
Whoa!
It's a double whammy!
Oh shit! What's in the bucket? Motherfucker, there's grapes and there's grapes in your mouth. Grapes in your mouth make you happy down south. Make you get a big bone. What you gonna do? Thanks, Sophie, for bringing that on.
Sweet.
Your rating, please, for Static X.
Overall, some songs are really solid and pack a punch, which is what I would kind of want. However, the rest of the album does not deliver that. So for me, originally was going to be a 6. I then thought about maybe a 5. I now can't settle between a 4 and a 5.
Okay.
I'm going to be nice because it was one of the first numbers that I originally came to when I sat down to start rating it.
3 loves from Sophie.
I am going to go 5.
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10, just purely because I don't think it's fair to come up with a rating just like that. And 5 or 6 was my original thesis.
No, that's absolutely fair.
So, that is Machine by Static X.
Yep.
Reviewed and stamped.
The next 6 matches of the tournaments will commence
After this short break and a word from our sponsors.
So the next matchup is, I think it might be the biggie. I'm not quite sure.
No, it's not quite. We are at My Chemical Romance versus a 5 Finger a Death Punch.
Yes, you spelled the name wrong, but we'll take it. I don't know who Kerry Ann is, but yes. My Chemical Romance versus 5 Finger Death Punch. Is it my turn to pick?
I can't remember.
I think so.
Hold on.
It was Bullet versus Manson.
It was.
And it was Fan Base. No. Yeah, it was. I think you picked that.
I did, yeah.
So, MCR versus 5 Finger Death Punch on the topic of live show. Again. So that's literally the one I just put back and it's come back out. Live show versus 5 Finger Death Punch versus MCR. I've not seen MCR. You've not seen MCR. I've seen 5 Finger Death Punch a load of times. Have you seen 5 Finger Death Punch?
Yeah.
Okay, live show it is. Alright, so, sir. we will start off. Is it Five Finger first or My Chem? It's My Chem first.
My Chem first.
So, My Chemical Romance. I would love to see them live. Now,
I would have. I'm not sure if I still would, but I definitely would have when they were massively relevant.
yes, if they reform now, I'd go and see them. I've never seen them. I was never a massive fan. Like when I was growing up, in my mid-teens, they were huge between my friends, and I got into them obviously quite a lot. But I took years away from listening to them, and I don't listen to them regularly now. A bit more regularly since this podcast started because we've been talking about them because they've come up. Now,
well, we fucking reviewed it, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. Reviewed them. Also, yes, they did withstand a lot of piss bottling at download. Black Parade, Sophie, is not shite.
Jake, man, you're too much.
Thanks for the comments traffic, Jake, though, but yeah, great.
I mean, I'm not 100% on the Black Parade. I liked it as an album. When we reviewed it, I did enjoy it more than I thought I would.
Didn't you give it like a 7?
I did, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. But if we're talking about just the song alone and...
Welcome to the Black Parade.
Yeah.
That's the song.
Right, if we're talking about that, it depends on what Jake's... I'm going off of what Jake said here.
Sophie,
so,
yeah.
well, no, because it was Jake that said Black Parade live is gold.
Oh, I thought Sophie. I didn't see that.
Yeah, so...
Hey, Jake, you've seen MCR? Whatever. Say it in the comments.
Bund.
They're just starting to fight with each other now.
They are, I know,
It's
right?
great.
We may as well just stand here and watch, like...
Quite. Moving swiftly on. I can imagine that they are great live. I've seen videos, I've heard from people that were, to be fair, obsessed with MCR, that they were great live. And their set list would differ. Now, I know when the Black Parade came out, they played pretty much the entire album and then some extra songs.
Okay.
But they were touring the album. Some bands do that. That's fair. I would love to go see them live, personally.
See, I would love to go and see them live doing the Black Parade, like the whole album. I would love to. That'd be awesome.
I prefer Three Cheers, but yeah.
Yeah, I gathered that you would. But me being really not a fan and being quite pleasantly surprised by the album, I would go and see that live.
Yeah.
I would worry, I must admit, one of my sort of flight risk concerns, I guess, about going to see them would be whether or not he can perform live very well. He strikes me as having one of those voices that will either sound spot on live and be fucking sick, or he would just be like, the whole time, and it would just sound awful, and no amount of professional sound
for
tension.
fuck's sake.
Well,
I'd love to see them live during a public hanging.
Excellent.
Fucking
Okay.
intense, sir.
Damn.
Intense.
So somebody who's not a fan of MCR.
Absolutely. That I never would ever expect him to. Maybe have that one little song deep in his black metal
Deep in
heart.
his playlist. Just hidden away there.
Craig screaming, "I'm not okay."
In between Il Nino songs, just, yeah. No, fucking... Oh, dude. This is not a safe place. You can't share anything here. So, moving on to Five Finger then. I have seen Five Finger Death Punch live.
I have seen, like 4 or 5, 6, 7 times. I can't fucking remember.
I've seen Five Finger play live 3 times.
Okay.
And 2 times they were really good. One time was right on an approach to one of Moody sessions.
Yes. Right.
So that time it was definitely lacking. And I kind of feel like if your band's live performance hinges so much on somebody being fucking sober, there is something to be said about that.
So, yes, they are amazing live. Absolutely spotless every time. I have a few issues. Now, the issue that I haven't experienced is what you're saying, is that he's fucked up a few times, gone off wasted and got drunk.
It's just been a pain in the arse.
I had to take hiatuses. They did have... Craig, what's the guy that took over for a little while? One of your vocalists? The one that sang the Baron Corbin thing? You'll tell me in a second. He's in Bad Wolves now. He took over. Craig.
I know Il Nino are amazing.
Now, he took over, he was great, and we've got to go for that as well, to talk about live show. However, the problem I've got with them as well, other than Ivan being shit and fucking up, Tommy Vex. Oh, maybe that's the wrong person I was thinking of then. Is he the one in Bad Wolves? Either way, that's the right person. I thought it was just Vex without the ED, but either way, not important. It's now got to a point where they don't change their set lists. They release albums too often, and they'll add like the 2 or 3 top songs from the album and remove a few songs. But that's it. The rest of the sentence will stay the same. So they don't play the first 2 fucking albums live anymore. Really, they play the Bleeding.
Okay.
They won't play big tracks like Ashes, The Way of the Fist, Hard to See, stuff like that. Hardly
They
ever.
don't play The Way of the Fist live.
No, not anymore. And it's one of their best tracks. Early Five Finger Death Punch is the best Five Finger Death Punch.
Yeah.
Right? I think
with some exceptions later on.
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
Stop fighting on the fucking podcast, bro.
And I've heard the cover of Zombie. Yeah, apparently it's great. Well, apparently it's great. It is. I like it a lot. Now, that's my issue with Five Finger Live. They have the showmanship. They have the power to go on stage. They took a long time in their career to really add something to the stage. Even when they were headlining Wembley, they still didn't really have too much. They had like a bit of like metal stuff in the back. Not really great for a live show, but
in terms of like set design and shit, it's not really like 100% there.
Yeah, not really.
I guess what it really comes down to then is, are we going to allow ourselves to pick a band that neither one of us have seen live, and therefore can't comment on any issues that we would potentially have, and quite likely could find if we were looking for them?
Yep.
Are we really going to choose a band that we've never seen live that we can't make the same sort of like, well, they're good for this, they're bad for that, they're good for this, they're bad for that kind of comparisons about?
It's not fair to ignore the fact that we haven't seen them. That's not part of it. If we got vocalist Corey Taylor versus, I don't know, anyone else pretty much, apart from Manson, we wouldn't be able to comment if they're a cunt or not, because we don't see them as much. We have to comment on everything we know. Okay. So we're going to comment as if we see them. Not as if we see them, but the fact that we want to see them.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I can gel with that. So,
what is your pick?
Yours? I am... To be fair, the last time I saw them was a short while before Stone Sour at 2013 Download. And it was kind of boring, to be fair. It was kind of boring. They didn't do a lot of moving around. They didn't do a lot of like interaction with the crowd. Having said that, I personally don't want to give a vote to a band that I've never seen live, that I'm pretty sure would have plenty of things that I could say, well, I mean, the vocals could be one of them. Gerard Way might sound absolutely atrocious live.
Possible.
Whereas at least I can comment and say that the band did sound good.
I won't stop fighting, Sophie, that's fine.
Sweet. You don't have to sit here, okay? Like, this is the problem. This is a real fucking issue.
Sophie's with us in spirit. Everyone is.
Alright. The minute ghosts can smell your gas, spirits will factor into this argument. But right now, we're trying to decide which band we'd rather see live without you farting. I'm going to have to say Five Finger, purely because as much as I would love to see My Chem, I haven't, and I haven't watched enough footage of them playing live to really be able to comment. I have seen Five Finger live. There are parts of it I really didn't like. There are parts of it I really did.
Okay.
I'm going to have to go with what I know.
Five Finger Death Punch, okay. My vote is...
I'm going to get my phone ready because I have a feeling.
You have a correct feeling. I would give up ever seeing Five Finger Death Punch again to see MCR live once.
Would you give up ever seeing Five Finger Death Punch? So never have seen
again.
them?
No,
that's what I'm asking.
No.
That's what I'm asking. If you had to basically switch it around, so you could have seen My Chem.
No, Five Finger. But we're talking now, we're not talking 10 years ago when I could make that choice.
No, we're talking about what we have actually done and not what we
But
could.
for live show, I feel like MCR would push it. I feel like they could have really put something on, really could have created some moods with it. So my vote is My Chemical Romance, and that's final. And yours is locked into.
It is, yeah. So I'm not going to try and change that, but you do raise a valid point there. I do think that they would probably be able to bring out a bit more emotion from the crowd.
Yeah. So we have a fan vote.
Where is this fucking post now?
This will be the top one, where it was last time.
That was all
the pinned post.
Brackets.
Yes.
This one. Oh,
So the fan vote: My Chemical Romance versus Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh dear God. Up.
Down.
The fuck is there? We go.
Right. Okay. Let's go.
Oh no.
My Chemical Romance have 5 votes. Five Finger Death Punch have 5 votes. We are at a tie.
So what do we do? This is the
This was
first
mentioned
time.
before. So with the tie situation, we're going to pick a topic. We're going to mention the topic to you guys, and we are going to announce who we think should win without discussing it.
Okay, so
Go.
how do we pick a topic?
Just like that.
Just literally.
Boom.
Yeah, go on.
The topic will be best album.
Oh.
3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge versus War is the Answer. 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge.
So that's obviously a matter of opinion. For me, the only album I can comment on for My Chem is Black Parade. I'm not actually a big enough Five Finger fan to know any of their albums all the way through front to back. So it's going to have to be My Chem.
My Chemical Romance go through.
Shit! What the fuck? I'm appalled with myself.
Best album going straight back in because it wasn't a really real thing.
Yep.
Okay.
So that is that. So My Chemical Romance have smashed Five Finger Death Punch
Yeah.
out of the running. Craziness, man.
So wait, is that MCR taking on Manson? No, it's not.
Yes, it
No,
is.
it's against the
not.
next
It's
one.
going to be against the winner of A Day to Remember versus Disturbed.
Your favourite.
Well, they're both really big bands for me, actually. And I'm picking as well. Shit.
I wish you the best, sir.
Okay.
If you just joined us, it's A Day to Remember versus Disturbed. Disturbed being first. In the topic of
Discography.
discography. Interesting. You're going to have to talk about The Day to Remember, by the way, because I don't fucking know. Disturbed discography.
Well, A Day to Remember are up first.
Were they? Okay,
yes,
my bad.
so I will run you through those. So, for me personally, I don't give a fuck about their little crappy EP thing that they released before, For Those Who Have Heart. So we'll start from there. For Those Who Have Heart is a fitting symbol of everything that it means to be a hardcore piece of shit.
Okay.
And I was just that at the time, and I listened to that album relentlessly with my fucking flat cap on backwards and my long hair combed out. So, you know,
Emo.
fucking emo. This is going to be the hardest matchup for me so far, I think, quite easily, because I love both bands so fucking much, and I love their discographies so fucking much. I'm alive so fucking much.
You've got 5 minutes on it.
Okay, so Homesick is a quality album. I know,
Man. Been to the gym twice this week. I'm fucking going for it.
I know.
Wait,
it's
Disturbed,
not.
not Homesick.
No,
No, sorry. I don't remember. Carry
Homesick, A Day to Remember is a fucking legendary album. It's really not going to stand out as anything special to anybody that doesn't have like a connection with that. So at the time, this is going to sound really fucking queer, but at the time I was going through a thing in my
on.
life.
We accept
where
all sexualities on this podcast.
we really do. I'm going to sound like an absolute queer.
Please continue. I'm sweating my balls off in here.
I was going through some shit at that point in my life, and a lot of songs on that album spoke out in a way that just made sense. So I developed an instant fondness for it. And then What Separates Me From You is the next album that came out, and again, I was still very much in the same sort of place. I fell in love with that straight away. I almost feel like it has nothing to do with the band, and it has everything to do with the songs that they were singing, and like the vocals, or the lyrics, sorry, more than anything. The vocal style, sometimes I couldn't care for. I do rate Jeremy McKinnon as being able to sing and do some pretty fucking gnarly screaming vocals. He does have good heavy vocals. That much has to be said. The next album after that, if I'm not mistaken, somebody please fucking sort me out if I am, is Common Courtesy. They were going through some shit at the time with their label, and they decided right at the last minute that they weren't going to do a release through the label. They were going to do it off their own backs, and that's what they did. And for their first, very rushed, I will admit, for their first efforts, completely backing themselves, it wasn't all that. There are a couple of songs on that album that are fucking sick. Life Lessons Learned the Hard Way, Violence, I'm Already Gone is a powerful song to anybody that's been through shit with a partner that just doesn't deserve them and just literally couldn't give a shit kind of thing. Like, listen to that song. I guarantee it will speak to you on one level or another. But overall, the album kind of fell flat for me. I listened to it like twice in comparison to the previous two that I would listen to twice a week sometimes. Yeah. So that was that. Didn't really appreciate that album that much. And then Bad Vibrations happened. And that is, again, what we were talking about earlier.
Bad vibrations, baby.
Not that one.
Right. Damn it.
It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier with, what band was it? Metallica, where it's like, okay, so there's been a couple of albums in between that are a bit like, especially for like the wider fan base as well. Common Courtesy really did not hit home with many people.
And you're saying Bad Vibrations?
Bad Vibrations came out and it was literally like being punched in the face by A Day to Remember Again, all over again, in the best way possible.
Okay.
Some songs on that album are still very much like, yeah, okay, this is a bit soft for you guys. Like, this isn't really suiting the rest of the album. But there's so many fucking awesome things. What is the song called? Fuckity fuck. It's gonna piss me off, so have a look. There's one song on there that just gives me fucking shivers listening to it because of how like perfectly placed the heavy vocals are. It's not important. I will fucking post it in the comments later.
You say this every week and you've never posted any comments, but thank you for the idea.
Brilliant. Somebody else fucking tell me what song I'm thinking of off of Bad Vibrations by A Day to Remember. So yeah, it's really good discography, to be honest. Overall, there's one album that I feel like lets it down slightly. Overall, it's pretty fucking solid for a fan.
Okay.
If you're not a fan, it's just going to fall under the same shit that the rest of...
I don't want to be biased in this, but I don't know A Day to Remember's discography that well.
Well, apparently, according to 5 minutes ago, that doesn't matter. Neither of us have seen MCR. You still fucking chosen.
I hadn't finished, had I?
Okay.
But
Sorry, Seth.
the songs that I have heard, I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of them. So I can only go based on the songs that I know or I've heard. I've seen them live, so I've heard enough songs. Disturbed.
Okay. We haven't actually spoken about Disturbed's discography just yet.
No, that's what I'm saying. Disturbed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. It's a solid discography. I don't know enough about it in terms of its like chronology to comment what album was when.
No, I'm not very good with albums, to be honest, with Disturbed.
Believe is a fucking...
I'm more of a track guy with Disturbed.
Yeah, 100%. I think most people are, to be fair. Like, they're one of those bands that appeal to like a general kind of sense of metal, if you know what I mean. So people think of Disturbed and instantly they think The Sickness and, well, pretty much that album in general, to be honest. Down with the Sickness is obviously the one song that everyone's like, oh yeah, they sing that song, don't they? It's like, there's so much more than that. Voices is a better song in my opinion. But we won't cross that because we're talking about discographies as a whole, and I get the feeling, judging by the look that you just gave me, that was like...
I didn't even notice the look.
Okay, sorry.
It was probably a zoned out look while listening to you.
Thanks! That's so nice.
While listening to you still.
Yeah, okay.
Fire away.
Disturbed.
I mean, I can really only comment as a whole album, is their latest album, their comeback album. I can't remember the name of it, but...
Asylum.
No, not Asylum, that's the one before they broke up, which also I'd say is a fairly good album.
Do you really think?
It's alright.
Okay.
It's got some good tracks in it. Then again, I know a few tracks, and the tracks that I know from it I like.
What is the most recent one then? Because...
I want to say Indestructible, but it's not Indestructible.
No, it's not.
It's a similar word.
Immortalized.
Right.
Is that the one?
Close enough to Indestructible.
That one.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Immortalized. Fuck me, that was 2015.
Not even...
Jesus
The album's
Christ.
alright. It's got a few good songs in it. Cover of Silence in the Snow, that's Trivium. Cover of Sound of Silence I really like.
Yeah, I mean everyone does, to be fair.
Definitely. There's some people that definitely do not.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was so fucking well done.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I can't comment on their more recent albums. I can only really go off of, well, The Sickness and Believe.
So, if that's what we've got, that's what we've got in us.
I am going to have to say A Day to Remember purely because I am just way too familiar. Probably too familiar being the right word for it as well. I love Disturbed. I love pretty much their entire discography. There's a couple of albums of theirs that I'm just a bit like, there's a couple of songs on it that I might like, but overall, meh. But because they have more albums than A Day to Remember, I feel like by ratio, that already outweighs it a little bit. Because there's more albums of Disturbed that I wouldn't listen to than there is more albums of A Day to Remember that I would not really listen to.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'm gonna have to. I have to go with what I know, really.
So you're going to remember?
I have to. Yeah, I have to. I'm more familiar with their whole works than I am with Disturbed's whole works, and that's not to say that I prefer them in any way, shape, or form.
You missed it, Jake. We'll fucking go at it. Moving swiftly on, I said we banned yet.
Oh right, okay,
Right.
sweet. No, not yet. I'm still working that finger.
I have to go with what I know, and whilst I'm not that big on Disturbed, I don't like to remember.
That doesn't matter.
I've tried, and
Doesn't matter whether you like it.
no, it doesn't matter whether I like it, but I can't choose a discography that I dislike over a discography that I like more.
True. That much I will settle with.
So
you are
I'm going
for
with Disturbed, which means we are at the fan vote time again.
Damn, Daniel.
I think this one's going to be quite close as well, but I have a feeling it's going in one particular way, which I don't want it to.
No, I have a feeling it's going in a way that you probably do want it to. Will you stop fucking doing that?
So the fan vote, A Day to Remember versus Disturbed, the winner is, with 6-3 votes,
A Day to
Remember.
That's...
Who go in to face MCR, and that's a fight.
That is a fight, to be fair. That is a good fight.
Yeah,
so I'm
very
kind of
interesting.
happy with that side of it. I'm not happy Disturbed and out of the running.
Yeah.
That does not feel right to me.
It's going to be one of them, though.
For a metal podcast. Do you know what? If the question was, which one of these bands would you rather see out, I would have chosen A Day to Remember still. I would rather have a dedicated metal band still in the running than a half-assed metal band, but
Yeah.
whatever. It is what it is. We knew it was going to happen like this. We knew that there were going to be times that we would probably both be like, I have to say this band. And this is just kind of one of them. Except for me, I don't really give a fuck because I like them both. So,
The next
moving swiftly on.
matchup.
Next matchup is going to be Cradle of Filth versus Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Excellent.
Through the medium of... I'm pissing myself already. Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Current relevance.
Oh,
That's probably the most fucking difficult one.
Do you reckon?
One of them, yeah. Current relevance, because they're both fucking irrelevant. They are both irrelevant.
Not true, I'm afraid.
Well, that is my argument for this. Who was
Okay.
the top band, please?
The top band was Cradle.
Cradle of Filth, for relevance in 2018.
0.
It's very, I'd say 5 out of 100. 5%. They are not very relevant. They are, if you ask a fan in that genre, they'll still probably say they're one of the biggest bands in that place, but that's only because of the precedent they've set, not for what it is now. I disagree with AIDS, but I do think Red Hot Chili Peppers are cancer. Now then, I love Cradle of Filth. I almost never listened to them, but back in the day they were one of the bands you listened to, because back in the Trevo days you have like a few things from each genre.
Craig got me into them.
Definitely Craig. Yeah, Craig Howell gets that medal, absolutely. And
I will say, I know it's not part of the topic, but I will say, is it Danny Filth?
it is.
He's a fucking legend.
Yes.
The guy has a skeleton in his kitchen floor. I love
real one?
that. Yes.
Oh, interesting.
I love that. That is my house. Like, I would have a skeleton in my kitchen floor. It's just in like a little glass cutaway bit that you can just look into, and it's lit and it's lovely. And
Yeah. Before I carried on with Cradle of Filth, I didn't even realise they had an album out last year.
Who?
And
Chili Peppers?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course they
And
did.
if they
Get
got-
away. Hence why I
it-
said that's just not true, my
It
friend.
got away with me.
I mean,
Didn't notice it.
you
And
are unfortunately one of the very few out of millions of people that have bought that album.
oh yeah, haven't, but yeah, no doubt.
That's what I mean.
But of course, getting to number 2 isn't a hard job, really, when you're that mainstream. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I mean, it's definitely not. And when you compare it to like Californication or By the Way, those two albums, which are not my favourite by a long shot, not my favourite, but are definitely standout albums for them, because very few albums of a similar sort of category and genre have performed as well as Californication did.
okay,
That was like the 90s, that was like 98.
stick to Cradle for a second. We'll
Yeah.
get onto them probably in a sec. But
Okay.
Cradle, if you asked the current relevance of Cradle in 2006 or even 2008,
Monumental.
monumental. To be honest, on the top of my head, I'm not sure where Red Hot Chili Peppers were at that time. I think they were probably bigger at that point, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But the relevance, 'cause it doesn't have to be bigger necessarily, because it's about relevance. Because relevant, you can be a tiny band, well not tiny, but a very small, like Cradle of Filth, and your relevance could be higher than Metallica at that time. I'm sure about 10 years ago, Cradle's relevance may have been higher than Metallica, as an example, because that was when Metallica went for their shit patch, and they weren't making the stand they do now. Like Metallica had their sour period where they weren't making music, they weren't really touring, they were having an off peak.
I don't know anybody that would stand up and say Cradle have influenced so many bands.
But no, it's not. I'm talking about relevance as a whole.
Okay.
It's not just influence. The relevance are at that particular time, and I won't stand on this bit too much because we're talking about now, not 10 years ago or 12 years ago. But at a particular time, they were making waves. They were being known as one of the biggest bands from the UK, and so on. But in 2018, it's dead in the water, and that's what I've got to say about Cradle of Filth.
Whereas Chili Peppers, on the other hand, I mean, I could probably, I don't think I want to at any point, but I could probably do a special on how much I know about Red Hot Chili Peppers. Strangely enough. I'm not like a mad fan. I'm really not, but I'm also not as much of a non-fan as you, for lack of a...
They've got like 4 good songs.
They've got more than that, to be fair. They do, you just need to find them. And this is the problem that I feel like most people have, is that they look to relevance of Red Hot Chili Peppers and they'll think straight away to Californication and By the Way, because they performed like absolute smash hits. The thing is, at that point in time, they were a band that had their songs played on the radio because the radio needed more rock infused songs to play on the radio. This is at a time when, late 90s, when Californication as an album came out. This is at a time in which there's so much fucking trance and shit and like crappy dance music constantly, relentlessly being played through people's speakers 24/7. There's going to be an outcry for a proper band playing proper songs to come along that isn't all about like heavy vocals and screaming. Like, there is still rap involved in Chili Peppers. There is still like soft sung vocals and stuff like that. So it is like a nice even mix of what everyone would have wanted at that point in time. But I still don't think that had anything to do with them being relevant. I think their relevance was way back in the day when they were releasing albums like Blood Sugar Sex Magic. Like, that is when everyone was looking at Red Hot Chili Peppers like, these guys are going to bust the fucking world open. And to be fair, they did. Just at a time when everyone else had kind of moved on. Sadly, we look at the two, in my eyes anyway, we look at the two having relevance now in 2018, and it's like you said, it's dead in the water for Cradle. It's just not for Chili Peppers.
It's extremely low.
it's extremely low in comparison to where they've been before.
No,
it's not extremely low overall.
I'm
I'm
to say it is.
gonna have a look at how well the Getaway has performed in terms of sales. So, because I think you would be surprised.
Again, sales aren't everything with relevance. Celine Dion could write an album now and release it. She'll get fucking loads of sales. Is she relevant? Not really.
I mean, she would be if she was releasing another album again.
But is she?
She'd be more relevant than like Madonna or someone. Like
Yeah, well, I guess so. But an album, releasing an album doesn't mean you're relevant, even if it sells. With Red Hot Chili Peppers, if you're going to release an album, it's going to sell well. It's a mainstream album. It doesn't mean they're relevant. I'm not saying they're not relevant at all. It's not high. When you compare almost any other band in this list, they are one of the least relevant. Least relevant than Manson. Least relevant than Avenged Sevenfold. Least relevant than Bullet. Less relevant than MCR. And MCR aren't around.
I don't think they're less relevant than MCR.
I think MCR still have that entire massive following, and they want them to come back.
If we're talking about following, my friend, these guys have got more fans than most bands.
Again, it's a mainstream. Foo Fighters have got more fans than most bands. Does not mean they're much more relevant than Red Hot Chili Peppers, might add.
Oh, fuck
but it doesn't mean that they are necessarily more relevant. They just happen to be. Fucking Gwen Stefani probably has more fans than Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'd say these guys are more relevant than Gwen Stefani. Just because you've got more fans, just because you've got more sales, does not mean you're more relevant.
Interestingly enough, Gwen Stefani's actually a massive, massive fan of Chili Peppers. Just throwing it out there. Right. Sorry, I'm just trying to find...
Rob, read that.
Jokes.
Did you know All Saints did a cover, I'm guessing?
I did not.
Well, there you go. Jake's already found it for you. 1,423,000 worldwide.
Oh yeah, I've got that. I just want to see... Okay, so as of June 2017, so this is just the United States, the Getaway has sold 463,000 units in the United States alone and over 1.5 million copies worldwide. That is not irrelevant.
I'm not saying irrelevant.
Well, no,
I'm not saying that. I'm saying they're just not that relevant.
I don't see how you can say that to a band that's still performing like that. I really don't, because that shows that the reception is there. That shows that the fan base is still there. That shows that people are still interested in their music, which is more than what we can say about Cradle of Filth right now.
I'm not arguing Cradle of Filth. I've got my vote in. I know who I'm voting for, but I will argue the point that I don't think they're that relevant. They're not. I'll say in one sentence, they're not as relevant as you think they are, and that's my bargain. That's my tool.
No, I mean, that's fair enough. Perhaps I'm overselling it and you're underselling it a little bit, because I think that they're not as irrelevant as you think they are. Either.
Okay.
Like, I think if you did research into it, you would see that there is still a massive following for Chili Peppers.
Also into the cover of Under the Bridge.
Oh, yes, I have heard that, and it's shite. It's so sped up and it sucks ass.
Who picked? I picked, didn't
I? Let's say yes. So you're going with
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Same.
I really want them out. Right, so Red Hot Chili Peppers go on to take on the next match of...
Dun, 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 dun. Pantera versus Lamb of God.
This is the big one.
Here we go.
This is what I'm looking forward to.
This is one I am looking forward to.
Pantera versus Lamb of God.
You need to shake.
I need to shake it.
Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake the topics. Shake the topics. Right.
Lamb of God. Pantera.
Vocalist. Okay. I mean,
that's interesting as fuck.
It is interesting as fuck. There are so many different angles to think about here.
Mm-hmm.
So many different angles to think about.
Randy Bly, Phil Anselmo. Not all three of those ones go in.
Never mind. We've only got like one or two more left anyway.
Yeah.
Shit. That's really tough. I mean, if we sort of assess it through the same kind of mediums that we did with Corey earlier, you have to admit the fact that Phil is a dick.
Phil is a twat.
He's one of the biggest cunts in the music industry, in my opinion. I like his music. I like Pantera.
His vocals were fucking excellent.
Yeah, of course
There's
they were.
no denying that.
Of course they were. And for back then as well. I always remember there was like an interview that I saw of them when they're talking about Pantera days. And this is obviously like sort of post-down kind of time as well, because he's shaved all his hair off by this interview. So there was an interview that I saw when they're just sort of, they ask him, you know, like what... Because for anybody that doesn't know, Pantera were originally a very a heavier Whitesnake hair metal band, yeah.
Yes, they were.
And then, you know, they went from wearing the whole fucking leathers and spandex and shit like that to jumping straight down your neck and taking a shit in your intestines. But that's exactly what they basically said as well, is when they were questioned back in the day, like, so what made you change your style so drastically overnight in a way that nobody could ignore, kind of thing? And all of them just kind of like look at each other and they're like, we just want to scare the shit out of people. That's all we care about. We just want to terrify people. Like, and it's kind of true, man. They pioneered that side of metal 100%. Like,
yeah.
they were one of the first bands to come out onto a stage, fucking start shaking their hair like crazy and everything. Like, one of the first people that like signed them to a label or like did some sort of deal with them said, like, he was there at the show, and he was absolutely fine until these big fucking burly guys came out with their guitars spinning their hair and shit. And he was terrified. He was frightened for what was about to happen. He didn't even wait for them to finish playing their first song before he went out to phone his manager and told them that they need to sign this band, like, straight away. And I've forgotten the fucking topic. Vocalist. And yeah, so Phil does have a lot to do with that, because the band were nowhere near as successful and as, like, exposed until Phil joined the band, because he wasn't in it from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. We've gone through, I'm pretty sure which band we got first, but fuck it. We've gone through, yes, the whole white power thing with Phil Anselmo.
Yeah,
he's a cunt.
He's a massive cunt. And we do have to factor that in.
We will factor it in, but a lot of people know that. If you don't know that, look it up. But effectively, said white power. What more can you say? Rob Flynn from Machine Head did a great rant on it.
Yeah.
Now, as
quite possibly one of the worst songs ever.
Oh no, yeah, he did a separate rant when it first happened. Then, because Rob Flynn was at that show when it happened. Then that song happened, but fuck the song.
They had a lot of respect for him as well, didn't he, before that happened?
Massive respect. One of the biggest influences for Machine Head were Pantera, I think. In fact, they supported them in their real early shows. Because when I saw Machine Head, little side story for you, when I saw Machine Head and Bring the Horizon supported, and Bring the Horizon got booed at the fucking building, Machine Head got interviewed about that, and they said, well, didn't really feel sorry for him, because it happened to us when we first supported Pantera. People booed the fuck out of us, and we carried on. So they'll learn from it, kind of thing. Unfortunately, Bring the Horizon is still around and breathing.
Do you know what, though? That's still around and bringing.
And breathing.
Oh, right. Oh, we said and bringing. I was just like,
those damn horizons keep disappearing.
Shit. So we've got a pretty tough decision to make.
But yeah,
Lamb of God, Randy.
Just quickly, sorry, on Phil, before we move back on from so we move on from the dickhead part. We know that his vocals, he can hit a lot of different types of vocals within Pantera.
Fucking This Love is a scary song.
Such a good song.
It is such a good song, and that kind of style of vocals he pulls off really well.
A new level. Oh,
mate.
Fucking, yeah, he's sick.
Is it Cemetery Gates? I'm
Broken.
Oh god, there you go.
Yeah.
Mate, that song as well. All of them. Well, they're all so fucking good, to be fair. I'm struggling to think of a Pantera song that I'm not really keen on, that I know.
Can't think of one at all.
And a large portion of that does come... It wouldn't sound right without his vocals. It just wouldn't. It wouldn't sound right with anybody else, I don't think, anyway. Maybe I'd be wrong. Maybe 100 vocals could try out for that. I still don't think it would be quite the same. So we have to take that into consideration. We have to take the fact that he's a massive twat into consideration. We also have to tend or entertain the idea that I'm not one of these people that conspires to believe that he had anything to do with Darrell Abbott's death.
No, yeah.
I'm not, but do I think that raged fan, that crazed fan, would have got up on the stage and shot him for being in a different band if it weren't for Phil fucking around for so many years?
I still think that's relevant. Because him fucking around that didn't cause the death, Dimebag.
No, I mean, it didn't, but it does beg the question, why, when you've been in a band with people that you, like, call your brother and stuff for X amount of years at this point, why suddenly stop getting in contact with them? Why start putting out albums of your own and not keeping them in the loop at all? Why be that guy? And I think
you've got to take that into consideration as well. Not the Dimebag's death part, but the whole, he was a twat in the band.
He was a twat in the band.
And he's the vocalist. We're talking about the vocalist of the band.
Exactly. And that's what I was more so getting at, is that, like, I firmly believe we would still potentially have Pantera today, or that we would have had them for a lot longer, had it not been for him being a dick at that point in time, because it got to that point where the rest of them were just like, well, fuck this guy then. Like, we'll go and start our own thing, and that's what pissed people off.
Yeah. Moving on to Randy. Best screamer in the business.
Quite easily. Yeah. I feel sorry for him because he's at that point now where I think he doesn't really want to admit it, but he knows his vocal cords are getting shot hard.
Oh, he said that they're probably going to stop recording screams as much. They're going to cut it down a fair bit. Although I think last time I mentioned this, Craig debunked that, but I might be wrong. However, he's still going to scream live, but I guess the more singing songs they release, it's going to be less to scream live because there'll be more singing songs. Someone told me he's actually not even a metal fan. I think he's a massive punk fan. He just hates metal. I'm not sure who said that.
To be honest, he's the type of guy that I can somewhat imagine saying
Craig
that.
did. I think it was on Beatdown podcast.
And yeah, to be honest, that kind of could very well be true, 100%.
So yeah, there's not really much a go in terms of Randy's vocal range because it's all very much the same. I'm not a fan of his singing vocals on Overkill, I think it was called, or something like that. But his screaming,
it's top notch, man.
They're the best. And him, in terms of a person, I've heard he's such a nice guy, but this has all come out since the court case, so take it with a pinch of salt. Maybe before he was a bit of an arsehole, but everyone's saying he's such a nice guy in defence of him not killing somebody or manslaughtering somebody.
Yeah, and to be fair, there was one incident where
Overlord, that's one.
A girl and her friends were in a car, and he was like parked up on the side of a road with his friends. Should have been nowhere near danger or anything, and apparently this girl was driving like an absolute dick and nearly killed them all. And he took to social media and tore her to fucking shreds.
I think I remember this actually, yeah.
Tore her to absolute shreds and was like taking photos of her busted up car like minutes after the accident had happened. So she's obviously like either in like the care of paramedics at this point, or she's waiting for paramedics to arrive on scene or something. And he's taking photos of her car saying like, you're a stupid girl. Like, what could you... I get being pissed off. I do. Because since the story's come out in full, you can tell that she was driving like an absolute fucking moron to be doing the speeds that she collided with their parked car at, or their parked van or whatever. She must have been driving like an absolute fucking moron.
Right.
But she was a young girl. She is a young girl. She didn't die. She's a really young girl. She was like fucking 17, 18 at the time. I know that that's no excuse, but like...
Hold off to call it out.
Exactly. I'm not being funny, but that's going to be mortifying for anybody. You could have been driving for 10, 15 years. If you have a collision like that, it's going to scare the shit out of you. So you have to imagine the kind of mindset that this girl was already in, and he's seemingly, anyway, making it seem like his top priority is making sure that social media are on his side and dislike her from the off for making it probably very stupid and avoidable mistake, but a mistake nonetheless. And that was something that I'd always thought Randy Blythe was pretty cool up until that, and I just thought then like, it's a bit of a cuntish way to deal with things, but alright. And that's pretty much the only bad thing I have to say about the guy.
It's voting time, and I'm stuck.
Think
I know who, but I'm fucking... This is a strain.
I'm gonna have to go with Pantera myself, just because as much of a dick as Phil is, I can't ignore their influence as a band, and I don't think their influence would have stung as much as it did were it not for him.
But still, for the purpose of this tournament,
Yep.
influence is zero part of it.
Yep.
It's just the vocals themselves.
Yep.
And you're sticking with it.
Yep.
In that case, I'm sticking with my choice of Randy Blythe.
I am going to get the phone.
The fan vote for this is going to be unreal.
Horrendous. To be honest, I don't care which way this goes because they're both amazing. So let's have a look.
Pantera, Lamb of God.
We have a winner of Pantera 6, Lamb of God 2.
Okay, Pantera goes through.
I'm quite shocked at that, to be fair. Not that Pantera won as such, but just that Lamb of God only got 2 votes.
Yeah.
Out of 8.
Pantera goes through.
Pantera do go through, which then, I believe, gives us another matchup to talk about.
Is it the final one now?
I'll get onto that in just 1 second. No, we've got 2 more.
Wait, so Pantera will be taking on Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Excellent.
Cool.
That should be good.
Final 2 matchups.
Final 2 matchups, and we are going to burn through these because we are running out of time. So next up, we have Stone Sour and Iron Maiden.
Okay.
Through
We'll
the
still
medium
give
of
the 5 minutes if we need to, but that'll be off.
fuck yeah, fuck yeah.
Stone Sour versus Iron Maiden on image and artwork.
I'm starting to think we only have like 3 topics.
We've gone through vocalist, fan base, relevance, drummer,
Okay.
image and artwork.
Image and artwork.
We haven't touched guitarist in this whole tournament though.
No. I think we maybe need to start filtering them out.
Image and artwork.
Image and artwork for Stone Sour.
So some of the imagery is actually really good in terms of the audio secrecy thing and a really cool album cover, whereas like audio and then upside down was secrecy. Fucking fair point.
Yeah.
Now
100%. We'll get to that.
Yes, we will. So that's really cool. I mean, in terms of image, they don't really have an image. They're kind of
do
5 guys or 6 guys that stand on stage and play.
Yeah,
And no image really involved.
I think a lot of the image that people might get misconstrued with Stone Sour is purely around Corey. The rest of the band are worth merit and stuff, don't get me wrong, like definitely. Just that I feel like because of the impact that he has as a person, the rest of the band kind of end up slipping into the shadows just by... And that's not really fair, really, because the rest of the band probably could provide an image for themselves. It's just that they don't really get much of a platform to do it on.
No.
So in that sense, yeah, I agree with you. They don't really have one, do they? Like,
not really. Other artwork, I'm trying to think of it. I did like the artwork for Come Whatever May.
yeah,
It's just like the dusky clouds and the guys wearing the
fucking
goggles.
loving it. What's Golden Bones? Fucking
House of Golden Bones.
Yeah.
Part 1, 2.
I
don't remember the artwork for that, to be honest.
Pretty cool, to be fair. Nothing like incredible.
We'll throw in as well for Stone Sour with the music videos, Through Glass and Bother are great.
Really artistically done.
Yeah.
Like, really artistically done.
There's another song I can't remember. I think it's from Audio Secrecy. The house is on fire and it just looks really fucking cool. But I can't remember the name of it.
30-30 150 as well is basic as fuck, but works really well.
Moving on to Iron Maiden.
Yeah, moving on to Iron
Before we
Maiden.
touch on Eddie.
Before I die from gassing. Mustard.
Now, that's grim. Okay, can't really not mention Eddie even in the artwork because like
He's everywhere. He's their mascot.
Somewhere Before Time, is that the one with the pyramids?
Mm-hmm.
That looks sick as fuck, even if it's the wrong album title.
Oh, are you sure you're not thinking of Power Slave?
I don't know.
I don't know, but he's their mascot. He's their face of everything.
Yeah, and the reincarnations, as you could call them, of Eddie there's been like 10 to 15 of them, and every single one looks fucking insane.
And the rest, man. There's every time that you go to see them live, there's a different version of Eddie that comes out on the stage, near enough.
Is it a different version from one of the albums, though?
Not always. Not always. Sometimes it is literally like 2013 Download was its own Eddie.
Right. The Final Frontier album cover, that was pretty sick with Eddie as well. I'm trying to think of exactly how it goes. But I just know, I remember it being good. I can't explain how it was, though.
Brave New World is really cool. But again, it's the same sort of thing. It's the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
through and through with Eddie. But like I said, he's their mascot, so they kind of have to.
Yeah, no.
They have to stick it out with that. And in terms of their image as a band, the things that we say Stone Sour don't have in terms of having like a persona or an image to their band is everything that Maiden do have.
Yeah. I agree.
I think we've got a clear-cut winner.
I think we have, and as I picked it, I'm going to go first. It's obviously fucking Iron Maiden. It's Iron Maiden.
Stone Maiden. I'm going to go with Maiden as well. So,
there we go.
Boom. Power Slave, there you go.
To the final matchup of this tournament.
Dun, 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 dun. Linkin Park versus Trivium.
Oh, nice one to finish us off.
Holy shit, dudes. Right.
Linkin Park versus Trivium on...
Through the medium of drummer.
Drummer, interesting. Whoa, actually...
That's tough.
Yeah, Linkin Park.
We're not going to be...
No, I know, but... You've got to fold this shit properly now.
Alright. My folding skills aren't on point today.
No, they're not. Right.
Forgot how important it is to a metal podcast to be able to fold paper.
It's got to be done.
It has.
So, starting off with Linkin Park, was it?
Yes.
So, the drummer for Linkin Park.
Forget his name.
Yeah, no idea. Do you think he really brings much to the band?
No.
No.
Not in the greatest respect, really. Don't get me wrong. I think if they chopped and changed their drummers a lot, I've never really noticed.
No.
And in that sense, the drums just do kind of fall under that same umbrella of just being
there,
part of the rhythm section.
And with Linkin Park, because they have their new metal roots and how they went on, the drums weren't ever a big part of the band.
No.
They didn't need to be because they didn't sort it out. You're right.
Like the biscuit.
Rob Borden.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, of Linkin Park, right.
It's not to say that he's a bad drummer, it's just, like you said, there's no real relevance for him to be an incredible drummer. Like, Avenged Sevenfold wouldn't be the right kind of band without having some, like, manic shit happen on the drums.
Yeah.
Which is why I hate Hail to the King, because that is not good drumming. Or it is precise, and it's really good, but in that sense, but, like, it's not...
We'll discuss this during the special.
100%.
But can you imagine Hail to the King with... It wouldn't make sense.
No, you're right, it wouldn't. But that's why I don't think it makes sense for them as an album. We're getting off topic.
We are.
You
brought it up.
Yeah, I did.
I wouldn't say... Yeah, there's not much else to say about Linkin Park. I just spaffed everywhere. The drummer doesn't add anything.
No. Whereas Trivium, on the other hand, I can't imagine Trivium being the same band that they are, again, without having
15 different drummers.
Fucking craziness on the drums.
Fucking... Was it Paul Hardwood strings? Or is that gunshot to the head?
Gunshot to the head of trepidation.
That fucking drum beat was one of the first drum beats I really fell in love with.
Entrance to the Conflagration, mate, is a fucking wicked drum beat. Just for the pure... That's everything that drums should be, really. It's like, it's manic, but it's systematic manic. If that makes sense. And fucking love it, man. Absolutely insane.
Even the simplistic ones sound brutal, like In Waves.
Yeah, exactly. And fucking the drums for Capsizing the Sea as well, like leading into In Waves. So basic, but perfect. That would not sound right with any other drums. No. And for a drummer to be able to bring that much of an impact to even like an intro song is hilarious. And therefore, my choice will be whichever of Trivium's drummers you want.
Yeah, well, it's drum as a whole, and it's got to be Trivium. So Trivium goes through to take on Linkin Park. No, they don't. They just beat Linkin Park. Well done, Kieran. They go on to take on
Maiden.
So if I can have your phone quickly, I'll read out the future matches. So those are that's the first round done.
Yeah.
Fucking there you go. So in the next round, we're gonna have, if my memory results well, Machine Head versus Black Sabbath, Avenged Sevenfold versus Guns N' Roses, Slipknot.
I think Nirvana might have won that. I'm not sure.
No, Guns N' Roses definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was the fan vote and it was like 8-1 to Guns N' Roses.
Oh, right, okay.
Slipknot versus Foo Fighters. Metallica versus Rage Against the Machine.
That's an easy win.
For who? Depends what the topic is, man.
Yeah,
Drummer.
true. Oh, don't do that to me.
It will be Rammstein versus Marilyn Manson. My Chemical Romance versus A Day to Remember. Red Hot Chili Peppers versus Lamb of God. No, Pantera, wasn't it? Pantera.
Uh-huh.
And Iron Maiden versus Trivium. Okay, so before we say our goodbyes, we'll have a little 10-minute chat about Miles Kennedy Live. Miles Kennedy Live
Go for it.
was fucking incredible.
Yeah.
So, for those that know the name Miles Kennedy, he is the lead singer of Alter Bridge.
For those of you that don't know the name, Miles Kennedy, get the fuck out.
Sort your life out, man. He's my favourite vocalist in rock by a mile.
Yeah, he's up there. He's one of. I haven't really picked a favourite. I've never thought about it, but he's definitely got to be up there.
Yeah, I've never really had to try because now I've got into Miles, I know that no one's going to touch it. And he's also been the vocalist for Slash over the last half a decade or so. He's released a new album, Year of the Tiger, which we reviewed last week.
Mm-hmm.
And
fucking sick.
It's great. He played a set list built up of his solo songs from Year of the Tiger, Alter Bridge songs, Slash songs, and his old band, the Mayfield 4. So he did loads of covers in that. Technically they're covers because they're not him. You know, it's really weird to see, Miles Kennedy covered Miles Kennedy with Slash.
That's a bit weird.
But it was an acoustic show. The guy that came on first, he fucked up at the beginning. Well, he didn't. The tech did because the fucking... And now I'm trying to figure out how it ties behind goes. I'm not going to try because I'm fucking tired. Now, unless he just thinks he's an arsehole. That's cool. The guy opened up for him. Yeah, he was great in the end. Really funny. Did a song about Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump going on a date. It was really fucking funny.
That's hilarious.
And then Miles came on and just blew apart. It was really weird because it was like where I saw it was Birmingham Institute O2. It's a 200 people venue. There were 2 gigs on the same night. One upstairs, one downstairs. That's how small the venue is.
That's weird.
It was weird because a few people were like, is this for this Tom guy? I was like, no, it's Miles Kennedy, not knowing at the time. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll go find the key somewhere else. And then eventually they realised that it was the same venue. So 2 lots of people going in and were like, oh, you're upstairs, you're downstairs. One of the cool parts about it is, in between songs, you can shout and the whole room's going to hear you. So I just shouted in my half-drunk state, you're perfect at everything you fucking do. And Miles was like, what was that? I was like, you're fucking perfect. Fucking fanboy moment, to be fair. But I love Miles Kennedy. The selection of songs he did were very interesting. I expect like the softer songs you go for acoustic, but he played Addicted to Pain and Cry of Achilles.
Damn.
Acoustically,
what the
yeah.
fuck?
He closed with Cry of Achilles.
That's so good, man.
And
I'm jealous right now. That would be a fucking awesome thing to see.
Yeah. This is an experiment, by the way. I was like, me and Lewis were both hoping Blackbird because that's the song. We were like, Blackbird. And he's just like... I'm like, holy fuck, he's doing Cry of Achilles. This is fucking insane.
That is nuts, man.
So, yeah, no, really good to see. Really good fun. There's not much else to say.
How much do you pay for the tickets?
I don't know. £27 to £32.
Okay. It's alright.
And yeah, no, fantastic. Really, I would advise it. He's been announced for Rambling Man Festival.
Something
More of
like
like a slight country, but with a bit of rock as well. And he's sub-headline. He's a special guest to the headline of this country stage, which is weird. And that's that really. So that's my little tiny review of Mark Kennedy. It was great.
Fucking excellent.
Yes. So thank you for joining us in what's probably the longest episode we've done now. It's been lovely to see you all. Thank you so much. To close us off for next week, we are going to be. I'm glad that Craig's watching live this because this topic was decided last Monday as soon as I got home from last week's podcast. The topic will be the best and worst cover songs, and whether they're disrespectful or respectful as a whole. So we'll talk about that in full next time.
Yes.
And the next album vote, we're not going to bother checking the poll because it's been a landslide. The next review for the album is going to be All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us by Architects.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which won out on the poll over Facelift by Alice in Chains, which is a bit of a killer for me. But I like Architects, so let's do this.
Yeah, I have not heard the album in full, but I like a few songs.
Fair enough.
I love the new song that's not on the album. So yes, thank you ever so much for joining us. We have been Cyphered on episode...
Don't even read it. Carry on. I want to go.
Oh, you and your bullshit ways. Thank you to everyone but Craig for joining us. No, you're cool. Yeah, we'll check you out. We'll check you out. No, we won't. Check us out next Monday for episode 11. Much love and thank you and goodbye.